Hi YouTube. This is a video about my nursing school experience. I started nursing school April the 27th, 2011. Um, my first course classes was A&P and fundamentals, which I didn't think those were too bad or whatever, but we did end up losing maybe 5 or 6 people after that first semester. Second semester we had pharmacology and med-surg 1, I think. Pharma med-surg 1. Yeah, we had pharma and med-surg 1, I'm sorry. Yeah, we had pharmacology and med-surg 1. Form I thought was a little rushed, but I still end up doing good in the class or whatever. We went to I think we ended up losing a couple of people in pharmacology, but they continued on to med-surg 1, but after med-surg 1 they couldn't go on anymore. Med-surg 1, it wasn't too bad. I actually thought it was easy, so after that, the people that failed pharmacology, they couldn't move on with us to the third term, which was OB and med-surg 2. I have kids, so for me, OB wasn't so bad. I think OB was one of my strongest points during nursing school. With OB, I think like 2 people ended up failing, but they still continued on to med-surg 2. Once we got to med-surg 2, we had that was the dreaded med-surg 2. We had already heard horror stories about it. That med-surg 2 was the hardest in the whole LPN program, and I believe it. It was even hearing all that stuff, it put so much pressure on me because I had kids, and I had my kids early. I was a teen parent, and a lot of people would always tell me oh, you ain't gonna be nothing, you ain't gonna make it, you're not gonna do it. So for me, that put a whole lot more stress on me. So med-surg 2, that was the most stressful class ever out of my whole LPN, LVN, whatever, however which way you want to use it, experience. Every exam that we had, I was switching up the way I was trying to, my test taking strategies and stuff, but nothing was working. I was going to tutor and I was asking my instructors for help and everything. We had one instructor, we knew she didn't want to help us. We would ask her, well, can you clarify this? Can you clarify that or something for us? And she would always be like, go on your break and read it, or find out, on your break and find out and come back and tell me what you find. She would even be at the top, at the front of the class, and she's all like this, and so it's we can even tell you're not engaged, so that makes the experience that much more harder, because it's we have an instructor that doesn't even seem like she's caring to help us, because she was supposed to be teaching the RN program, and I guess that's where the tension came from. I don't know. So we end up getting the dreaded Mr. I won't say his name, but we end up getting him, and I actually thought he was a whole lot better or whatever. I failed every exam. I think we had 6 exams. I failed 4 exams and I passed 2 barely. If I would have missed one question, I would have failed. I ended up walking out of med-surg 2 with a 75.2. I needed a 75 exactly on the final, and that's what I got. I ended up making a 75. But like I said, I failed 4 classes. 4 exams, and I passed 2. I think what saved me was the homework and the pop quizzes that we were having. We didn't know when we were having pop quizzes. It was just something said study, God was telling me you need to study, so I was praying like crazy, because I'm I can't I can't fail. I done paid too much money. I don't have time to start over and repeat 3 more months of this stuff. But anyways, I end up passing with a 75.2, and 75 is passing. We had 41 students at that time, and only 8 of us passed. It was crazy. We didn't know who all passed or not, because first people were always lying about their grades. They didn't want nobody to know. So the first day of PEDS, we were like, okay, what's going on? You know, it's only 8 people here. Like, okay, maybe some people just running late or something like that. But it was only 8 of us. You know, we was like, wow, you know, we lucky, we blessed, we really blessed to have made it when so many people failed. And it was people failing by like 74.9s and stuff like that because they don't round. If it's not a 75, then it's just what it is. We got to P's. I, you know, went through P's. But going through P's, I had a traumatic experience happen to me. On June 2nd, 2012, my brother was shot and killed by the police department here. He was 21, and that experience in itself kind of like threw my whole nursing experience off. You know, it just, you know, I had people telling me like, you need to just go home, you need to go home. My teacher pulled me to the side and she was like, you know, if you fail this exam, you make a 40, there's no coming back. You know, you just should just go home and take it another day. And I told her no, like I still have kids, you know, in a family that's dependent on me to do what I have to do. So I went in and I made an 87 on that exam. I end up passing P's. I'm sorry, y'all. I end up passing P's or whatever. And I went to Med-Surg 3. Med-Surg 3, we went through 3 instructors. Our last instructor, we could tell she really wanted us to pass. She was hands-on. She was doing tutoring and everything for us and stuff. So that Med-Surg 3 final was extremely hard because we were used to getting like some questions that repeated itself on the finals or something like that, but this Med-Surg final was 100 completely different, totally different questions. So I was nervous. I needed a 58 on the final in order to pass, and I ended up making a 78, and I was happy. You know, I was so happy. We ended up going through like the professional development class. That was okay. Esper, that was boring as heck, but I made it through that. So the last exam was our final, comprehensive final over the whole, well, the exit exam is what we call it. And we end up having, we could have had ATI, HESI, or Kaplan, and we all thought it would be Kaplan because all the representatives was constantly coming up to the school, you know, trying to help us with NCLEX questions and stuff like that. We end up getting 180 question, 3-hour ATI exam, and everybody was dreading it. I had the bubble guts. I was hot inside. I was nervous. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through all these, you know, all these questions. So at the end of all that, it has like a little survey that you have to submit. And no sooner than I got up after I finished the survey, she was already bringing my results, and I made a 74.7. Woo! Okay. You only need a 70 to pass, but I was looking online to try to find like the conversions for it, and by me making a 74.7 or 9, whatever, 74.9, that 74.7 I think is what it was. It translated to making like a 94 or 96% chance of passing NCLEX on the first try. And I did pass NCLEX on the first try, and ATI practice NCLEX questions was all I used. I did make a video about my NCLEX experience. If you have any questions or anything like that that you want answered, or you know, just anything, just hit me up, subscribe, and let me know. Yeah, subscribe.